Hey everyone, welcome to the PFF Betting Podcast. Welcome back. I am your host, Kendall Valenzuela. With me as always, Ben Brown, PFF Senior Data Scientist. We are closing out Super Wildcard Weekend. We've got the Rams Cardinals matchup tonight. Going to break everything down, so let's get into it. Football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, but with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's just that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets if they score. You score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's the final one, Ben. Final game of wild card, super wild card weekend. And we didn't have, yesterday wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Great. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was. I didn't go through like all of our picks. I have gone through basically all of the written content for like the Island game write-up. So I am, I would say with Andrew Fnackle, we are 8-13 through Saturday and Sunday games. We did hit 2 same game parlays. We're up like 2.5 units. It has been a little bit of a grind. There have been a couple things that didn't break correctly. Like Juwan Jennings went over by, I want to say like half a yard yesterday.
Yeah.
And, Jalen Hurts had I guess he had a couple interceptions, but the whole Eagles game, I feel like I did not see correctly whatsoever. And I really didn't see the Cowboys game all that correctly either from a macro level. So I will definitely take being up positive units with the fact that I kind of bricked on those actual game plays for sure.
Yeah, you had the Cowboys, right?
I like the Cowboys. Yeah, that was like the one time I've got against Green Line since like
not a company
week 5
man
or something, and I just can't do that anymore. I mean, I almost always just like straight up bet against bet with Green Line, especially on the game spreads and totals. That was the one time where I'm like, man, I don't know. I was too high on Dallas. Like that's all there is to it. I don't think they played exceptionally poor, at least from like the product on the field, but like some of the decision making and everything else was just a complete and utter disaster. And they still kind of had a little bit of a fighting chance at the end. So yeah, I don't know, but I expected a lot better of, an offensive performance for them. So I thought they'd put up 28 points. If they did, I think they would have won pretty easily. But yeah, that was not me seeing that game correctly for sure.
I know. So I was watching your betting live stream that you guys, the watch along that you guys did on YouTube. And it was so funny because I ran to the live stream once that series of events happened towards the end, just to hear you and Eric just go on your soapbox and just preach how bad it was. And it was everything I needed it to be and more.
Yeah. Eric went on like a really good rant. The problem for me was I was kind of delayed because, you guys at the PFF headquarters have like the best stream basically. So I was like maybe a playish behind or something like that. So Eric's like talking about it live. And I'm just sitting here like a deer in the headlights, having no real clue what's actually going on or something. He's like, the game's over. And I'm like, how is the game over right now? I had like no idea. So it was, I don't know, it was a complete disaster. I mean, obviously Cowboys fans want to blame the refs. I think, the play calling situation was just horrendous, right? And I mean, Eric talked into that quite a bit.
Yeah.
They did punt a couple times on 4th down as well. Should not have punted on either 4th and 1 or 4th and 3. So I don't know. I'm wondering if they're gonna, potentially clean house in Dallas a little bit, get rid of Mike McCarthy. I don't know for sure, but that was definitely the performance that would justify it.
That would do it. We are running a quote today on social, PFF social.
from Jerry Jones saying that coaching change is not on the table. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And then for a second, Ben, I thought we were going to have to come on this podcast this morning and apologize to Steelers fans everywhere just for a split second.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to happen. I was a little nervous.
That was thankfully just like a great so I wish we would have been doing the watch-thon for that one too, because I think both Eric and I, without even talking to each other, both bet the Chiefs -4.5 as soon as the Steelers return that touchdown. I do think that's like, the perfect spot to kind of buy into some of those in-game betting. And it wasn't even a sweat. They obviously covered the pregame line as well after that time. So I don't know. Patrick Mahomes is just not a person that I'm going to be betting against anytime soon here. I mean, I'll either just be on his side like we were with the over 2.5 passing touchdowns, or I'm just gonna probably sit those ones out, because he's capable of kind of like turning it on like no other player in the NFL can right now, I would say. So
yeah, I'm with you on that. We're never gonna doubt him. But let's finish out the end of Super Wildcard Weekend. We got the Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles team today. So I think, Ben, 49.5 total points, right? That's where we're at. And I feel like the matchup right here is really about like how the two quarterbacks are going to play today. So I really want to know, I think you're hitting the over on this total points, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably like the one direction. It has moved up just a little bit, I want to say here. So you can kind of find it across a few different spots. 50.5, 50.0 probably at points bets, wins bets, 49.5 basically across the other legalized sports betting market. I don't know. This is tough. It is really tough, right? Because this could easily be a game that's like 7-3 at halftime, right? And it's just awful. And Kyler Murray basically like can't get any receiver to get any sort of separation downfield. And Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense relying on Cooper Kupp, but still, making probably some poor decisions, and then, turning the ball over a couple times, and it's just being a pretty low scoring game. So I think, if I was playing a side, I'd almost, lean in the overs direction, but I really don't feel confident in saying either side of that. We don't have a play on PFF green line really for anything on the game spread or total here right now. For nothing's basically showing value. So
yeah, and I think offensively, like Arizona and the Rams, like they slipped offensively in the second half of the season, right? The Cardinals were second in the league in DVOA offense through week 9, and then they fell to 22nd, and you could say the same. The Rams were third until they fell to like 15th or so. So I feel like that's where I get nervous when looking at least just at the points. And Stafford's interceptions, I think you wrote about it too in your article, but his interceptions, like they did tend to become like more pick sixes. And so that's also where you were a little nervous too.
Right. Definitely. I do think we might need one of those Stafford pick sixes in order to go over the 49.5 point total, but it seems like it could be a pretty decent proposition for that to actually happen here, because, he has been pretty poor in those, random decision-making spots, especially in high leverage situations. And, it hasn't gone well for him. So I don't know. I do think, like you said, I think, based on, PFF's numbers, both teams were at one point in the top 10, according to our opponent adjusted grades, have both dropped out of that. We have Rams 11th and the Cardinals 13th. Maybe, like I definitely agree with you saying, in the second half of the season, both offenses have definitely taken a step back from where they were to start 2021. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting 3.5 point spread as well. I do think, doesn't really make a ton of sense unless you think that there's basically like no home field advantage for Los Angeles. We have the Rams still as a top 5 team, 5th overall in our ELO rankings. We have the Cardinals at 12th overall. So some decent separation. Obviously, it's crossing 3 on the spread, but this is, maybe looking like it should be closer to 4 or 4.5 on the spread from what we're kind of projecting out, but we'll see. I would say I haven't really seen either of these teams all that clearly for the entire season, and more so even in the second half of the season. So I'm not really getting involved too much on the spread pre-game. I'll probably get something involved here on the in-game market for sure.
Yeah, so I'm with you. And I think it's weird because you're right. We don't have a read on both these teams to know what they're going to do in this game. And so I'm with you staying away. And I think, oddly enough, the Cardinals are, I think, what did I read? 6-0 against the spread when away. So it's going to be a different weird game, but we'll dive into our props right now. And one of the props that we just have to get back because Joe Burrow did not do it for us, but that is Matthew Stafford. We're going to hit his rushing yards over 1.5. And I need it to happen. I feel like I like this one more than Kyler Murray's. And we talked about it a little bit before the show, but Kyler's at 38.5, which may be a little high for us, but let's start with Matthew Stafford over 1.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, definitely. I do think, we have basically the Cardinals defense is 19th overall, not great from a pressure percentage or, pass rush grade. I think they rate, let me look here really quick. We have them as a 9th best unit from a pass rushing perspective. I think they grade out they look closer to like a league average team according to just pressure percentage, or one of the worst teams in the NFL based on pressure percentage. So I think that we could see Matthew Stafford take off here, but I think it's probably going to need to be more so based on, a sneak type situation more so than coming from a scramble. But 1.5 rushing yards. I mean, he's definitely athletic enough to do this. I do think he should probably get more credit than, a guy like Big Ben or Tom Brady. And that's kind of in the range of where he's at. So obviously like the quick passing game with Cooper Kupp is a little bit of a concern with him potentially going over this, but I think he'll have 1 or 2 opportunities, hopefully from the 2-yard line, to sneak one in or something like that. We can go over this number. So I like this one quite a bit. I mean, we did get Dak Prescott rushing yardage prop yesterday, thankfully. So that was, we were good on Sunday, just not so hot on it on Saturday.
Joe, breaking our hearts. And I feel like Kyler Murray, like his was interesting because I love betting Kyler Murray rushing yards because it's fun to watch him without a doubt. And I think with so DeAndre Hopkins isn't in the lineup anymore. And I feel like because of that, he's kind of taken back that rushing workload that wasn't like super prevalent early on. But I don't know, with Von Miller super comfortable now with the Rams, and same with Aaron Donald just being Aaron Donald, I feel like they're going to have a really hard time obviously keeping that pocket clean and clear for Murray. So I don't know if we lean one way or the other, but I think that's an interesting, like 38.5, 37.5 is an interesting place for him to be with that rushing prop.
Right, definitely. So we lean basically on the under for him to go under his rushing yards, also his carries at 6.5.
Okay.
I tend to maybe agree more so with the rushing yards than the carries. I do think he's going to have some opportunities here. Kind of like you said, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, all these guys are going to be able to get some pressure. I just don't think he's going to be all that productive getting to the second level in some of those scramble situations. But this is kind of a key to the game, right? Like you touched on, DeAndre Hopkins not in the lineup, Antoine Wesley, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, all these guys are going to have to get some sort of separation downfield, or it really is going to be the Kyler Murray show on with his legs, or they're really not going to have any semblance of offense production. So I don't necessarily want to bet the under, but I don't really think you can get involved with the over here either on either one of these Kyler Murray spots. So
I know you mentioned Antoine Wesley, and when you brought him up before, you do have, I don't know if you want to say this as a prop or if you want to tie this in with your parlay, but we do have to talk about him because you do have a play on him tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So I like Antoine Wesley over 23.5 receiving yards. This is the lowest value play according to PFS Player Prop Tool, but I like it quite a bit. I do expect AJ Green to get the Jalen Ramsey treatment here quite a bit. So we need Antoine Wesley to kind of win this matchup for, outside of Zach Ertz. I don't think we're going to see too much offensive production from the pass catching unit for Arizona if Wesley can't win his matchup against Darius Williams. So I like 23.5. I do think he can probably go over this, with one reception. He has been pretty decent downfield, even in, contested catch situations. So I think this one's going to happen, and it's probably too low from my perspective at 23.5 receiving yards. So I do think this is one of my favorite player prop bets for sure.
I was going to say it's one of mine because it's so like, what has been going on today?
Right.
Exactly.
So it's off the wall, I guess.
It's an under the radar one.
Yeah.
It's the under the radar one, because another one that you like is Cooper Kupp, who is like the least under the radar guy we can have. But over 7.5 receptions. And I feel like the receptions props recently have been doing well for us instead of going towards their receiving yardage props or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. So we have value on both as over receptions and receiving yards at 105.5. So maybe this is a spot. I know are a few sites you can same game parlay both of these. I tried it on BetMGM. I want to say the last time these two teams matched up when he went for like 132 yards. That was a painful one where I had like 135 plus yards over like, I want to say 11 or 13 receptions or something like that. And he hit everything and then fell like 2 yards short of my alternate line. But I might be inclined to go back to the well here again. I do think that he is basically going to be the only guy, right? We like, Tyler Higbee to go under his receiving yardage. We like Odell Beckham Jr. to go under his reception and receiving yardage. So I think there's a healthy amount of target share going to be on Cooper Kupp that is definitely going to be taken away from the other receivers. And I think that, buying into him has been basically the easiest bet you can make all season. And I don't think that's going to change in the Rams' biggest game of the year so far. So
yeah, I mean, you can't expect what Cooper Kupp did during the regular season and think that it's going to change come postseason, right? I mean, he's been reliable. He's been that guy. So betting on him to continue on doing this isn't really taking much of a risk. And I think I read in your article too that betting on Cooper Kupp right now also it's a prop that doesn't depend heavily on the game script, right? You know that they're going to go for him and that they're going to go for him hard.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's the best thing, right? It doesn't matter if they're winning by 2 touchdowns or losing by 2 touchdowns. Like, he is going to get heavy target volume basically every single drive. Right. And I think that's the reason why it's been such a slam dunk this year. And like you said, I don't expect that changing whatsoever in a win or go home game, because they absolutely have to win here to move on. So I like that one quite a bit for sure. So
cool. Well, I know our Deebo Samuel hit yesterday, which was nice. I had to like rein it in a little bit because I was too excited on Saturday. Just too excited. So I have one for today, and it's a different one. And I found Zach Ertz at plus 260 when I was looking, but I think, the Rams have allowed the most yards per like short pass among playoff teams. And that's something that fits into like Zach Ertz, right? We talked about how they've been utilizing him and, targets for him, but he's seen like end zone targets in 3 straight games and a red zone target in 5. So I feel like if this is not what they brought him here to do, I don't know I don't know what is, but because he's been great for them, but I feel like this is really where they're going to hone in on his skills. And with Hopkins out, I think he's emerged as Kyler's, favorite target and someone that he's really going to rely on in the postseason, especially tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. Right. He's basically been the guy since DeAndre Hopkins left. I think he has, since coming over to Arizona. So since basically week 7, week 8, he has 20% of the team target share, 22% target per route run. So he has definitely led this team in target percentage now that DeAndre Hopkins has gone over his reception total in the last 4 games, went from 3.5 all the way up to 5.5 in his reception total. We do show a little bit of value on him going under his reception, but that's just because it's at such an inflated price right now because he has been so involved, right? So I could easily see this playing out where he maybe goes under his reception total and still does score a touchdown, but I do think he's probably going to finish with at least 5 catches. So I like that one quite a bit. I think he's gone over his reception total in 7 of 9 games for Arizona so far this season. So this maybe isn't quite at the same level as Cooper Kupp overs, but this seems like it's pretty safe bet here, and especially at a plus 230 price. I'm definitely going to get involved with this one as well. So
perfect. Well, any other props that you like, any parlay you have for us before we embark on this journey together?
I got to get one more prop out of the way. I do like Sonny Michel over 9.5 receiving yards. He basically hasn't really left the field a whole lot. Close to 90% of the offensive snaps played since week 13, 75% of the routes run. So I think, one check down to him, maybe a well block screen or something like that, but over 9.5 receiving yards, that seems quite low based on his actual usage on the field. I know he hasn't necessarily been heavily involved in the receiving game, but this is going to be a spot where, if you think the Rams are potentially playing from behind, that's a pretty safe bet, I would say, from my perspective as well. Then same game parlay, we got to go with it. I've got 2 for 5 so far in the wild card rounds. This is like the one thing kind of holding me together, but I like Matthew Stafford over 23.5 completions. Obviously a lot of short stuff to Cooper Kupp. Maybe he gets some Sony Michel mixed in there as well. But then Cooper Kupp over 106.5 receiving yards, Antoine Wesley over 23.5 receiving yards. Kind of talked about both of those already. Plus 470 price on Caesar Sportsbook. And I think that's, pretty safe bet. Maybe me liking those things also is reflective of the over. Going back to it, maybe the over is the correct play here. But I think if you expect, Stafford to go over 23.5 completions, then I think all these other things are probably going to happen as well.
Okay. I need a final prediction if you're so inclined. It's tough.
So
I don't even know.
I know it is.
I don't even know if I know what I want to, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say it's probably going to be like 23-20. So it will maybe go over. And I do think that
but barely.
it's probably going to be like 20-10. And then, the Cardinals are going to like kick or get a touchdown or something. And then we'll see the Rams make a poor decision and kick a field goal to go up 6 or something like that. So 23-17, 23-20, one of those spots I do think is probably what we're going to see ending up happening here. So.
All right. I'm with you. I'm locking all these in after we're done here. So I'm excited. It should be a good finish to a super wild card weekend. Yes. But everyone, make sure to go to pff.com/betting, get all of these great tools, all of our prop bets, all of Ben Brown's articles. Thank you so much for listening and good luck tonight.